Scott from Scott Shop Media. Today is Thursday, August 27th, and this is what is happening on the mountain. Just a quick overview. Traffic has been pretty light today. There was a couple of traffic accidents reported. One over in Big Bear sounded pretty bad at first, ended up being very minor injury. And more recently on State Route 18 at Lower Waterman Canyon. It's actually still an ongoing incident, non-injury accident, but a vehicle is blocking an outbound lane facing the wrong direction. So they're waiting for law enforcement and tow to get on scene there. So use caution as you come up the mountain today. A couple of Caltrans projects still ongoing. Some have already completed, but there's still some projects on State Route 18 and 38. And then overnight and into tomorrow, we'll see one on State Route 189. As far as our weather goes on the mountain top, things are looking really good. Should be a nice weekend coming up. There are currently no watches, warnings, or advisories. As fires, there are two on the mountain. Crews are still working the Mitsubishi Fire from yesterday. It's about 5.5 acres. You might see some activity still as crews continue to mop up, but there is no threat to the forest, no threat to the communities. And earlier today, there was a small fire, a grass fire that started at the ski resort at Bear Mountain. Crews were cutting the lawn and sparked a little fire. So you might have heard some fire trucks headed that way. 8 crimes reported across the mountain over the past couple of days. Currently 2 Edison power outages affecting 35 customers. One of those outages is actually expected to be done real soon. Did you feel it? Probably not. There was a 1.6 magnitude earthquake this morning, centered just east of Big Bear. And lastly, there are 6 new COVID-19 cases that have been reported in the past 48 hours across the mountain. If you'd like to stick around and get more details on each of these topics, we'll start right away with traffic. There are currently construction projects going on State Route 38 between Angeles Oaks and Seven Oaks, across the Arctic Circle on State Route 18, and those projects are expected to last for at least another hour or so as Caltrans crews work to do various repairs of guardrail, utility work, clean up slide, things like that. Overnight last night and in through tomorrow, we'll see over State Route 189 in the Twin Peaks area, around Mile Pine Road and Highway Spur, crews repaving and doing some utility work over there, so slow for the clone zone. And tomorrow, the only scheduled Caltrans project so far is over here at Stansfield Cutoff, and some ongoing utility work will continue tomorrow. And hopefully that'll just be through tomorrow, be done by 3 o'clock before the weekend commute. There was a traffic accident reported earlier in the Big Bear area. It sounded pretty serious at first, ended up being 1 minor injury. And currently on State Route 18 at Lower Waterman Canyon, crews are on scene of a single vehicle accident. They're going to remain there until until tow truck and law enforcement gets on scene, because it is blocking a lane and it is facing the wrong direction downbound. So use caution in the area near Lower Waterman Canyon. Our weather for the next few days is going to look great. No hazardous weather forecasted, no watches, no warnings, no advisories. Highs will be about the same today and tomorrow before we get a slight cool down through the weekend and into early part of next week. But for now, no monsoonal moisture, no thunderstorms, nothing like we saw last weekend. Couple of fires to update you on. Yesterday we had a 5.5 acre fire. It was called the Mitsubishi Fire. It was actually burning a little bit more west of Highway 18 than where it's mapped at. and appears to be a lightning strike fire. It's a pretty remote area, no trails or roads up there. And there was no major threat to the forest. They were able to get about 10 different aircraft out there between helicopters and fixed wing. So they got it contained with a retardant line pretty quickly, but crews are still out there today mopping up the hot spots. Smoke might be visible from the Big Bear Valley area. You might even see a helicopter or two dipping water out of the lake, and that's pretty normal. They'll keep that up until they get this fire 100% out. Over here in the Big Bear Bear Mountain Resort, there was a small grass fire this morning on the resort property. The crews were cutting the grass on the side of the ski slope and sparked a little fire, about a 40-foot by 40-foot fire. The maintenance workers put the fire out themselves before the fire engines got there. So if you heard sirens in the Big Bear Valley this morning, that's what that was all about. There are no Santa Ana winds in our immediate forecast. As I reported earlier this week, the Forest Service has elevated our fire danger level on the forest floor to extreme. So with that comes additional fire prevention precautions and resources that are available. I believe on the dispatch to the fire in Big Bear, as well as a report of smoke on the 330 today, which ended up not being anything, maybe just some dust. I believe they are dispatching a piece of equipment that is on loan to us from Wisconsin. So I know there's equipment throughout the country coming to California to help out with the resources on these big fires up north. And because we sent equipment up there as well, it's being backfilled with equipment from out of the area. So if you see a fire engine from a national forest in Wisconsin, that's what it's doing here. And so we thank them for that. A handful of crimes, about 8 of them reported in the last 48 hours across the mountain. Over in Twin Peaks, a person reported their license plate stolen. In Lake Arrowhead, a person was arrested for possession of a controlled substance. Also in Lake Arrowhead, a person wrote a bad check. I believe it was to the hospital, which I'm not sure if that was the pharmacy or what. A couple of incidents occurred at the same residence in Big Bear Lake. There was a break-in as well as a person arrested for possession of controlled substances on Big Bear Boulevard. Over in Big Bear City, there was an assault with a deadly weapon involving hands, feet, or a fist, and a grand theft auto over there in Baldwin Lake on Madrona Lane. And lastly, over here in the Woodlands or Irwin Ranch area, there was a person talked to for disturbing the peace on 5th Lane. Just 2 power outages to report today. In fact, one of these should already be done over here in the Crestline area, Skyland, Arrowhead Highlands. Utility crews are replacing a telephone pole. That outage is affecting about 30 customers. And then over here in North Lake Arrowhead, pretty close to Deer Lodge Park, 5 customers are currently without power until about 4 o'clock as Edison crew works to upgrade their power equipment. And this looks a little bit more dramatic than it was. It was a 1.6 magnitude earthquake centered just east of Big Bear City this morning. Not sure if you felt it. 1.6 seems pretty small, so you probably didn't. Why do I report it then? I think it's just a good reminder that earthquakes can happen at any time, and we should always be prepared, especially up here on the mountain. Lastly, COVID-19 updates. The county's looking fairly well. We are still continue to be on a downward trend as far as the number of cases cumulatively that are being reported on any given day. Specifically on the mountain, we had 6 new cases reported since Tuesday or since Monday. Community breakdown, Angeles Oaks has 2, 35 in Big Bear City. A few new cases reported in Big Bear Lake. I think 2 of these were actually just reallocated from Sugarloaf. So that brings that total to Big Bear Lake to 50, 11 in Blue Jay, 1 new case in Cedar Glen, bringing this total to 6. Crestline remains at 64, Fonskin with 2, Forest Falls with 3, Green Valley Lake with 2 new cases in Lake Arrowhead, bringing the total to 14. Rim 4 still has 1. 25 in Running Springs. 2 of them disappeared from the Sugarloaf, bringing their total down to 11, and 1 new case in Twin Peaks, bringing to 10, for a total of 236, and still 5 deaths reported on the mountain. So that's all that I have for you guys today. Again, this is Scott from Scott Shot Media. Feel free to email me or text me if you have any questions, any feedback, anything that you would like me to cover as it relates to public health and safety. And follow along. Please like my page, especially what is happening on the mountain, if you would like to get this daily updates. Or you can follow along YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and maybe even TikTok coming soon at Scott Shot Media. Have a great day.